My house is the place to be right now if you want to get fat. The best in the world. No others like it. Very chewy. We still got all of my brother's Halloween candy, or most of it. We've got cake for my brother's birthday. We've got pie, just because. We've got donuts. We've got Oreos and other cookies. It is like bakery and sweet central right now. It is hard to control oneself around such temptations. Every time I'm in psych class, it pretty much hits me how much I think that I chose the right major for myself. Actually, I think that pretty much in every class, because in psychology I'm really interested, and in every other class I'm like, what is the point of this? I'm going to read my notes or tell you a little bit about what happened in the last psychology class that I had. We talked about hermaphrodites, which is something that I had talked to another friend about like maybe a week ago, probably less than a week even. We were discussing what it is, what it means to be a hermaphrodite, and how it happens basically, and how it's possible. And it just so happens that we started talking about hermaphrodites in psychology class. This is a little lesson in biopsychology. Hermaphroditism is defined as discrepancy between the variables determining identity. And these variables include sex chromosomes, gonads, hormones, genital morphology, and sex of assignment, which our professor was telling us about how sex of assignment is actually the most important part, despite the fact that biologically you might be a female or something, but if you were assigned as a male, you will forever consider yourself a male. In minor cases, there's transsexuals, but I mean, it's not as common. Usually, the most important part of your sexual identity or your gender identity is the sex of assignment, which is given to you at birth. And there's this thing called the androgenital syndrome, which, or also known as the congenital adrenal hyperplasia. What this is when you're a baby, you get, or before you're born, sorry, not when you're a baby, they have a very high level of testosterone. The thing about testosterone is that it is found in large amounts in males and not in females, and that's because the testes produce like a large amount of testosterone, but in females obviously we don't have testes. So it's produced still, but it's produced in the adrenal medulla, which is this part in your brain. And so in this case, the adrenal medulla has nothing telling it to stop making testosterone. Like, there's nothing in your body, usually there's something in your body that says you're making way too much testosterone, like chill out, but not in this case. So basically, you have a lot of testosterone, even though you're a female. You end up having these really masculine genitalia, and it can be really ambiguous whether you're a male or female. So usually this isn't a big deal, or well, it is a big deal, but not as big, because if you're born in a hospital, obviously doctors are going to be able to recognize if you're a male or female, even if you have kind of like masculine genitals. And so it's not a big deal, you can get like treatment for it. But sometimes these babies are born in places where doctors aren't as available for people, and so regular people have to make the decision about whether it's a male or a female, and for regular people it's really ambiguous and you kind of have to guess. But most of the time it's assumed that they're males because it looks like they're males. And so this is really interesting because, as I mentioned before, our professor started telling us about how sex of assignment is the most important part of your gender identity. So these females are being born and being told that they are males, and they live their life as males, and then suddenly puberty hits and they're growing boobs and they're getting their periods, and awkward things that aren't supposed to happen to boys are happening to them, and it's like, whoops, sorry, you're actually a girl. sorry about that, Tommy. Change your life around, tell all your friends, and yeah, start being attracted to boys, because you're a girl. Of course, because the sex of assignment is the most important part, this is like really hard for kids to deal with. So they start getting all these problems, and most of the time, like, they start ignoring the fact that they're actually girls, and they just keep living their life as boys. Honestly, like, what other subjects could give such insight into parts of the world or parts of people's lives that you wouldn't ever otherwise learn about? I just thought that was an interesting thing to talk about, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye!